Hey, what is going on guys, Ben here from Roadcraft PC, and today I'm bringing you a noob's guide to flipping and merchanting. A little money maker that's been in the game pretty much since the release of RuneScape. People were doing it pre-GE just by trading. I remember people used to buy, a group of lobsters and then slowly sell them off at a higher price than what they bought them for. And that's essentially what flipping and merching is. So first of all, there is a difference between flipping and merchanting, and everyone must understand this. They're not the same thing. Flipping is often used as a term for when you can buy an item and sell the item straight away after buying it for a profit. Merchanting is more of an investment. It's when you buy an item with maybe some sort of knowledge of it rising, or maybe you're just going hopeful and holding on to it until it rises in price and then selling it for profit. Both are useful and good methods, and it's all down to personal preference of which you do. Personally, I do more flipping than merchanting. However, merchanting can be a safer option and also a less time-consuming option as well if you just want to make some money on the side. For starters, I'll go over flipping. So I briefly went over it, but flipping is the buying and selling of items to make a profit. So you could buy a shark for 900 GP. You could then sell the shark for 950 GP. That's what flipping is. Buying and selling and making profit. And obviously you can't just buy and sell sharks at a random price and hope to make profit. You have to find the margins of the profit on each item. So I'll quickly explain how you find the margins. Say I wanted to flip sharks, a very commonly used item in game. They hit a lot, they have high demand because so many people are buying them, and they also have a high supply because so many people are fishing them. I would buy one shark at the max price, so it instantly buys. Say I put it in for 15% over and it buys for 900 GP. I could then sell the shark instantly, so I'd go 15% under, and it could sell for 870 GP. I would then know that the shark buys for 900 GP and sells for 870 GP. That's a 30 GP profit margin. All I do then is flip around the prices. So I'd buy at the price I sold for, and I would sell at the price I bought for. So I would buy the shark at 870 GP, and I would sell it at 900 GP. Obviously, you only buy and sell one shark to find a profit margin, and then once you found a profit margin, you can buy and sell 10,000 sharks, or as many as you want, as long as it's inside the 4-hour buy limit of the sharks. So that's what flipping is. Are there any requirements of flipping? No, none at all. People start flipping with as low as 1 to 500k cash stack. Some people say that you need at least 10 mil. That's not true. You can flip with any amount of money. A lot of you will know a friend, a famous YouTuber of RuneScape, has made a series of flipping 1 mil to 50 mil GP. Granted, that was 07, but the same rule applies. You can use any amount of money to start flipping, and it doesn't matter. And there are no requirements apart from accessing the GE. But obviously, the more amount of money you have to start off with, the more amount you make in the end. One of the key tips to flipping is to start off small and build your way up. This is something I never did when I started off flipping. I started off flipping God Wars Dungeon 2 armor, some other weapons, I think Armored Battle Staffs, and I eventually went on to Ascensions, Drygors. I kind of dove into the deep end, and that was a bad idea, and it didn't work out well. In fact, I lost money. And you definitely shouldn't do that. I know a lot of you will be tempted to just buy expensive items, sell them, find the margin, and then try and make profit on it. It's hard. It's not that easy just to find the profit margin and go. You need to get a grip for flipping before you go in for the expensive items. I would advise starting on items that have a 10,000 buy limit every 4 hours, such as raw materials like sharks and ore. Coal is quite a popular one. Adamant ore, that's quite a popular one also. Runes sometimes work. Lore runes used to work quite well. All those items that you can buy 10,000 of every 4 hours, those are very good to start with, because it just gives you a brief understanding of how flipping works, and it doesn't, it's quite hard to lose money on it. And when you do lose money, you don't make a huge amount. Sorry, when you do lose money, you don't lose a huge amount. When you make money, you don't make a huge amount either. But as I said, it's a good way just to get your foot in the door and start learning flipping. The second tip I'd have for flipping is to know the buy limits. As I said, I started off very badly, and when I was learning to flip, I tried flipping next items. Many of you will know next items are only a 1 in every 4 hour buy limit, such as the plate bodies. So I tried buying a taller plate body, sold it, found the margin. I was like, oh look, that has a 1 million GP margin. I can make loads of money off this. And then I couldn't buy another one for another 4 hours, which, yeah, my bad. So know your margins. Look around on RuneWiki and other websites and find out the margins for the items before you do them. Because sometimes there'll be either a 1 or a 10 every 4 hour item, which, could mean that the margins aren't very good. If the margin's 5k on a 10 every 4 hour item, that's probably not worth doing. But if it's 5k on a 1000 every 4 hour item, then that's definitely worth doing. So it's all about knowing the buy limit of each item and making sure you've done a bit of research before you jump into it. The great thing about flipping, and one of the main reasons it attracts many people, skillers as well, is just because of how AFK it is. Depending on what items you do, God Wars Dungeon 2 items are often very quick flips, and you may need to stand by the GE while you're doing them. But other items such as raw materials, you can flip and it can take 20 minutes or something to fully buy them, in which time you could be doing a farm run, you could be doing some fire making, some divination, anything. You could be skilling, you could be doing a slayer task, and then come back and put them into sell. So it is very AFK, and it makes you a good amount of money over time just from running back and forth to the G every now and then. In terms of item, I know a lot of you will want to know a item list for flipping. I don't have an item list written down. However, raw materials are very good, such as sharks and ore, I've already said. Rock tails work well. Teak planks, logs, they're all very good. Raw materials are quite easy to find good items for. When you want to move on from that and you're getting a bit more confident, maybe try out God Wars Dungeon armor. You can't really find the margins yourself, so go in Flip Chat 1, the friends chat, and you can find out the margins for every God Wars Dungeon armor. And God Wars Dungeon armor is 1 every 4 hour buy limit, which is why you have to find the margins from a friends chat. And that, that can make a few 100k here and there, and it's quite easy. It's quite quick flips, so that's a pretty good one. Other than that, when you're getting really confident, you can go in T90 Weps FC to find the prices for tier 90 weaponry and move up to Drygores and other weapons. However, as I said, definitely start off small and work your way up. Right, so that's about it for flipping. Hopefully in the background you've seen some successful flips of mine, and just you're getting the gist of it by watching it. And now for merchanting. Now merchanting, as I said, is very different. It's more of a future investment. It's buying items at the right time, and it's buying the right items. So a lot of people think, why would you merch over flip? And it's less time consuming. You don't have to spend anywhere near as much time at the GE. In fact, sometimes merches can last weeks. It depends what you're merching, but they can last days or weeks. So it's a lot less demanding on time, and it can make more money, or it can make a decent amount of money with the amount of time you put in. So it's definitely worth doing, especially if you don't want to put too much time into it and you want to be doing bossing on the side. Say you want to put a merch in before you go for a next trip. You can do that, but often you can't put flips in. You wouldn't be able to try and flip God Wars Dungeon armor while you're at next. That just wouldn't work. So merchants for merching, same as flipping. Nothing. The more money you have, the more money you'll make, but you can do it with any amount of money. Merching, probably you'd want to start with a higher cash stack than flipping, just because they're quite dragged out. It's quite a dragged out process, merching. So I'd say have a few mil backed behind you, but there are no requirements. You can do it with less. So with merching, it's all about knowing when and what to flip. So a good example of merchanting is scrimshaws. Now scrimshaws have peaks of when they're in demand and then they fall again. And the peaks of when they're in demand are according to PVMers and bosses. So a good one is the Scrimshaw of Elements, which is the magic Scrimshaw. That Scrimshaw is used heavily when Virago enters the Scopulus week. That's when a lot of people buy that Scrimshaw, and then after that week, not so many people do Virago, and not so many people use that Scrimshaw. So a lot of people will stockpile the Scrimshaw of Elements at the end of the Scopulus week, and then by the time it comes around to the new beginning of the Scopulus week, sell the Scrimshaws for 100k more each. Same applies for Araxor, for when Path 1 and 2 are open. That's the most popular time to Araxor, so a lot of people use Scrimshaw of Vampirism, Scrimshaw of Elements, Scrimshaw of Magic. So people will stockpile it at the end of Path 1 and 2, and sell it again when Path 1 and 2 comes back around. That's a good way to merch an easy, reliable item, because you know it's always, you can pretty much guarantee that with Scrimshaws you're going to either make your money back or make a profit by the time it gets around to the next rotation of either Virago or Araxor. So that's a pretty reliable merch that a lot of people do. But merching is all about knowing the game. So a lot of people know that there is a seasonal, annual promotion of the VIP Premier membership on RuneScape, and you can pay via bonds. So what a lot of people do around about Christmas time, they will stockpile bonds, and by the time it gets to the VIP membership, I believe in around February, March time, bonds tend to skyrocket, sometimes double in price. And then people sell the bonds for money. So, it's a future investment. They invest hundreds of mil around December time, but it pays off when they can double their money in February or March. So that's also a very good merch. Another one is anticipating when a double XP is going to be, because double XP's weekends often follow a similar formula of the time of year. They're often around a similar time of year each year. So people can anticipate when a double XP weekend is going to come out, or maybe they see a news thread maybe at the bottom that a double XP weekend is going to be soon. It's announced. Maybe they've looked around forums and JMods have hinted at it. That way they can then stockpile on supply items that people use commonly for double XP weekends, such as water talismans and other things for summoning and herblore. That's a very popular merch. So it's all about knowing the game, knowing these supply and demand moments for certain items. Merchanting is a lot harder than flipping in a lot of aspects, and it takes longer to get the grip of. You have to do more research for merchanting, but it can pay off hugely if you know the game. I don't really have any merchanting clips to show you guys because I don't really merch, and I don't want to spend a few months getting the clips for this video, but you get the idea of merchanting. It's a very, very good money maker. Start off with the Scrimshaw method and do some research, and you can't really ask people what a good item is to merch. You more have to look at updates of the game, look at the RuneScape forums, the news threads, and anticipate items that may be going up in price. For example, there may be a news thread coming out saying that there's going to be a boost in XP for a certain skill. Say Artisan's Workshop gets a boost in XP. You may immediately go stockpile on Adamant Ore and Cold Ore, knowing that a lot of people are going to want to buy those materials to go train at Artisan's Workshop because it may be the new best method for smithing. So that's just an example. Don't go out and buy loads of ores because of this video. Take a look on the forums and the news thread and work your way around there. But that's about it for this guide. I hope this has helped a lot of you out with flipping and merchanting, and you can get your foot in the door and learn a bit about it. And I'm definitely going to up my merchanting game because it is an amazing way to make money. You just got to know the game. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this helped you. Please comment some of your stories to do with flipping and merching down below and how it's going for you, your learning process. Other than that, please drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.